two legends, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and who is the better quarterback? Now, I don't want to, have people, have any misconception of whoever had the better career. We all know that Tom Brady was, in New England for 20 plus years. They built the greatest dynasty of all time, not just football, but in sports. But this question is, who is the best quarterback ever? And the best quarterback of all time says 6 feet 2 inches tall, 215 pounds. The number 24 overall pick out of the 2005 draft. He is the one and only bad man. Word to my man Stephen A. Aaron Rodgers is the best of all time, right? And we know.
And so, like you said, we're kicking off. We're talking about the NFL's best player at the NFL's most prominent position, the marketable one, and it's the person driving the car, steering the ship, if you will. And we're talking about the best quarterback of all time. For this one here, we're talking about the 199th overall pick out of the 2000 draft, in which he was the sixth quarterback taken, Tom Edward Brady. And I'll state this off first, that I'm not coming here today as the best Tom Brady fan. I would describe myself as not a Tom Brady hater. And in doing that, I can objectively say that you have here somebody with the unmatched body of work, somebody who with the level of consistency that's been just unparalleled as far as how long he's been at it, and whatever you're cooking that recipe with, he's making just 5-star meals out of. And with that, man, I could just point to this guy being a two-time all-decade quarterback through 2 decades here. He ran the 2000s and the 2010s, unmatched in Super Bowl appearances, wins, things of that nature. We have a 4-time Super Bowl MVP. We have one loss in the Super. Well, we have 3 losses on his record, but 1 loss including the Super Bowl record, 500 passing yards. He's a 3-time MVP, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, 14-time Pro Bowler, etc. Like, I could just start right there for you. Like, this is the guy we're talking about, the man with 6 rings, one quarterback who can say that. Yeah. And we're talking about just somebody who's played a position at an all-time level that set such a standard and put New England on the map. And we wouldn't even be thinking about Patriots if not for Tom right there. So,
all right, we're gonna start an intro with my guy. He is a 9-time Pro Bowl. He is a 3-time first-team All-Pro, which is tied for Brady. He's been in the league less years than him. He is a 3-time MVP. He didn't win the award yet, but he's been.
Let's wait those votes. Don't count them eggs to their head.
No, PWA writers just named him the MVP. He's going to receive the award.
I mean, we got to wait for him to get that trophy and got to get a name.
Right. Stop playing. He just won the third.
We're not counting eggs.
He's 48 touchdowns and 5 picks this year. And I'll get to that later. Hold
on. Go ahead, though. My bad.
He's a Super Bowl champion, and it's only one-time Super Bowl champ, but in the only Super Bowl he played, he threw for 324 yards and 4 touchdown passes, 0 picks, and they routed Pittsburgh 31-25. He was amazing in that game. He's also a part of the Hall of Fame 2010 All-Decade Team. Is the 2011 Burt Bell Award winner. He is more efficient than Brady. He is he makes more plays outside the pocket. He does more with less. Brady's defenses were always historically better. Brady had cheating scandals. Brady pre-Randy Moss era was not that very good. I have stats on that too. And he was the fastest QB to 400 touchdown passes. Now, just getting, I don't want to overblow you with these stats. I'm just going to start off. Let's just start with pass rating. This is career pass rating. Aaron Rodgers has the highest career passer rating of all time with 103.9, and Brady's, respectively, is 97.3. The touchdown interception ratio, you really don't want to get in that because nobody is touching A-Rod in touchdown interception ratio. People get mad at me all the time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yes, it actually does, because that means, I'll just name it what it is. Aaron Rodgers has thrown 412 touchdown passes and only 89 interceptions in a 16-year career. Now, granted, In the 16 years he started, he was on the bench for 3 years. But we're talking about the 13 years starting. He's only thrown 89 picks and 412 touchdown passes. He's the only man on the 400 touchdown pass list to have 400 yards and not 100 interceptions. The rest of those guys that had that all had 180 plus, 200. The interception ratio is 4.6. Brady's interception ratio is 3, 581 to 191 respectively on the touchdown and the picks. Completion
I
percentage.
think that lends itself more to Brady being more willing to take risk on that.
Oh, it's not, buddy.
There's a thing about risk management, Aaron Rodgers, where he's a great quarterback. He can make every throw on the field.
Who can make every throw on the field? I know A-Rod can make every throw on the field.
Aaron Rodgers can make, but at the same time, if you're being super conservative,
that's the biggest
Brady
lie.
is. Wait, Rod. We're talking prime time Brady.
No, you cannot make Aaron Rodgers throws, Rod. Have you not?
He can't make them throws with the mobility that Rodgers has, but in that pocket, Brady is making some of the same throws.
Are you high for real?
I am not.
With the mobility. Have you
I said excluding the mobility with Rodgers.
It's still
excluding the mobility in the pocket. Every throw required for Brady that Rodgers can make. Brady's done the same thing. If we're gonna really pull up throw by throw, have you watched 07 New England in 2011?
Oh, with Randy Moss, one of the greatest receivers to ever play the game. And you talking about Gronk, one of the greatest ideas?
You give the best quarterback of all time, one of the best receivers ever. He shot his records. I mean, we're gonna look at that first off because we played in a conservative offense starting off himself.
You know what his rating was that year? It was 117.2.
It was 117.2 exactly.
I'm gonna get into that too.
And you know how many games he won that year as well.
Okay, they won 16-0. Wow, big. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
the quarterback to do that.
Okay, and we'll talk about stuff that Rodgers done that Brady hasn't done yet. Rodgers, let's see, seasons with 40 touchdown passes at least and 7 picks under. Rodgers has 3, Brady 0. Let's do this. Seasons with double-digit interceptions. Rodgers only has 2. Brady has 11. And then the out of the 2, the one was his first year starting in 08, and the other one was 2010. Since then, Rodgers has not thrown double-digit picks. Yo, boy, he is known for doing that. Now, let's talk about the two. Let's talk about
for winning a lot of games as well.
Who?
Known for winning a lot of games as well.
Helped them win them games, too. It ain't just Brady.
In 2011, when Brady threw for 5,200 yards, and his defense couldn't stop a soul out there, including in the Super Bowl the year they lost to Eli Manning and those boys in that playoff run in which he beat Aaron Rodgers on the way. But we're talking about Tom Brady, who has 44 fourth-quarter comebacks and 57 game-winning drives, compared to Rodgers with 15 fourth-quarter comebacks and 22 game-winning drives. These are per Pro Football Focus. Yeah. And as I was stating that earlier, he wins whatever ingredients that you're going to bring to the kitchen for him. Like, he said, shoot, whatever y'all got, just whip it up, and he's going to whip you up at least 12 wins on average throughout most of his career. And with that, I mean, you're talking about changing his offense from no-name guys early on with the first dynasty with the first 3 rings there to when you give him Randy Moss back in the Super Bowl that year, shattering passing records, and you changed New England's whole offensive identity to a more spread, short game, then hit deep shot game as far as just making it up as far as with just like little receivers, more like shifty guys, like kind of get open guys. But then he also changed the offensive style to where he's got tight ends now. He ushered in a new era of making the tight end important in the NFL. Okay. As far as with the Aaron Hernandez or Stoll and Rob Gronkowski, who's back with him in Tampa Bay now. But we're talking about Brady, whose averages more yards per season starting, and we're including and I found this metric here where they took out all the years the guys are hurt, whether that's 08 Brady with the ACL sprain seasons, Rodgers missed short. On average, he averages more yards per season and with more seasons under his belt. And that's included in we're talking with there's a wins per year and higher playoff wins per year in that same stretch as well.
Playing in the AFC least, I would expect you to have more.
In the AFC, in his division, he dominated what he did.
Now, like I'm just going to talk about the 2020 season alone. Well,
2020.
Yeah, the unexpected. Just we didn't know we were going to be here still. This year alone, let's just talk about how historic A-Rod played. So Green Bay, instead of getting this man help, and they were just in the NFC Championship previous year before, like they are now. They lost, obviously, to the 49ers. They got their butts spanked. They got ran through. Um, Instead of getting this man help, they drafted his successor. And that did nothing but, I think that lit a spark in Aaron Rodgers. This season alone, he's had 9 games with the passer rating of 124. That's first in the NFL. He had 7 games with 4 touchdowns or more. First in the NFL. He had 48 touchdown passes. That's first in the NFL. His passer rating was 121.5. That is the second best all time. Oh, behind himself, Aaron Rodgers. He had an 84.1 total QBR, first among QBs. And this year, he had 35 touchdown passes in the red zone and 0 interceptions. Right, this is unprecedented numbers right here. And the man is 37, and he's only getting better.
You're talking about Aaron Rodgers at 37. We're comparing to Tom Brady at 43, who himself did not have a bad year, including his 4,600 yards and 38 touchdowns.
Yeah, he has a lot of weapons at his disposal.
And he's making a lot of great throws.
Outside of Adams, what does A-Rod really have?
You're talking about outside of whoever has the best receiver season.
Adams is a monster. But we didn't say outside of him or those other guys, are they, top players on any other team? No, absolutely not.
No, I mean Rodgers, he's played well, but at the same time, he's saying
Brady maximize
what he's doing.
Right? He played his sport. Brady might have played well.
Of course. You said Brady is 43
Rodgers
doing stuff nobody else has done at his age. And this is year 20 for Brady after New England let him walk, said, no, we're good at what you hear. We think we're gonna be better off moving forward. And
he went to a
season
team,
we're seeing
he went to a team with had 2 Pro Bowl receivers, right? Let's not forget that.
That was last year.
Try to write that narrative.
How many years
called Brown, called AB. So don't act like he wasn't throwing to nobody.
I didn't say that at all. I didn't insinuate that. I'm saying another case, an example of doesn't matter what you put around him. You give him great receivers. You see what he's doing this year, leading the league in big time throws, according to Pro Football Focus. And we're looking at somebody just who's been just the standard bearer as far as continuing on his legacy here. And we're seeing him trying to become the first quarterback to play at home for the Super Bowl, as far as in his home stadium.
Yep.
And he's going to be accomplishing something else that had never been done as well in that regard. And I just think when you put together totality in every game by game basis, you have a drive, you need a win.
Nope, I'm taking
Are you taking Aaron Rodgers? Are you thinking Tom?
And like the new casual fans, what are we built? What do they like to see? They like offense. They like exciting plays. Who has more exciting plays out of the quarterback position in the history of NFL outside of Aaron Rodgers? Nobody. Top 10 Aaron Rodgers plays. There's this one play that is so significant. It was when Aaron Rodgers, I'll give the fans some insight. The Packers were playing the Bears, and Aaron Rodgers was rolling out. Was it in Chicago? No, yeah, it was. They were wearing white. Aaron Rodgers was rolling out to his right. The pocket collapsed. He literally, his body is bent, and he's throwing. There's a linebacker like trying to sack him. The arm angle that he threw, he literally had. He knew where Devontae was going, but he had the most impossible angle to throw people in his face, and he still threw a 45-yard strike bomb. And Patrick Mahomes himself, I don't know how old he was. He's probably still at high school or Texas Tech at the time. He said, that's the greatest throw I ever seen in my life. But let's talk about the Hail Mary throw that he threw to Jeff Jennings.
We're talking about these highlight reels.
Scenario. I'm talking about the highlight reels. He makes the best.
Talking about
he rolls out to his left. Chris Converse, that's the greatest throw I ever seen. Unbalanced, rolling to the opposite side and throw a 61-yard bomb. Brady can't do that. He cannot.
I'll tell you what Brady can do.
That play. Let's talk about the Jared Cook pass 2017 from the fans that are familiar with. A-Rod rolling out to the left, and he throws a dime, and then, Cook had stuck his feet in Rod. Brady ain't making that throw, bro. That's just fact.
I'll tell you the throws Brady's making. He's making the throws on the game-winning Super Bowl drives. He's hitting the checkdowns to the running backs. He's hitting the out routes. He's getting first down at the first down. He's doing clock management. He's putting his team in position to win big games. He's done this more consistently than Aaron Rodgers has throughout his career, and that's when it comes to playing the position. Aaron Rodgers, he's doing these amazing feats on the field that we haven't seen before.
You understand
at the same time, we're looking for quarterback play. We're looking
Okay.
for, you're talking about efficiency as far as the numbers, touchdowns, interceptions, but what is it equating to? Is it happening on time? Is the ball where it needs to be in the fourth quarter on the last drive of the game when it
Brady
comes to getting
relied
the win?
heavily on defenses.
Right. We're talking about effectiveness as well.
First half, come on now.
I mean, it's one thing to
the
have all of these like statistical, like as far as accomplishments, this and that, but when it comes to playing the game, like I don't think anybody's been better than Brady
quarterback.
because
We're not talking about who accomplished more. We said
we're not talking about. I'm talking
the best.
to in order to get these accomplishments, you have to play well, right? You have to make the right plays. You have to do all those things right.
That's a conversation.
You're talking about passer rating. Passer rating is more so a function of like completion percentage, yards, like touchdowns and not interceptions. But at the same time, some of those things happen in the ebbs and flows of the game. But when it comes to just being effective and leading offensive scoring drives and just being unstoppable, keeping the other team's better quarterback off the field. We're looking at Brady, who's on numerous occasions has beaten Peyton Manning, Big Ben in the playoffs, other great quarterbacks where it's just like they're not even getting a chance to see the field. Patrick Mahomes, his first year starting with KC, they beat them because Brady kept them off the field in that first half of that game,
bro.
And we're looking at
like he's doing it by himself, and
he's not doing it by himself, but he's making the plays that are required of him. Is the thing you can't dismiss what he's doing though. You're saying he's not doing it by himself, but the things he's still doing, he's doing them and he's doing them effectively. You know what I'm saying? He's doing it more completely. He's putting on complete performances, start to finish. He's finishing games better than any quarterback. He's at a level now to where he's in as control of the game as we've ever seen. I see Rodgers, he's getting to that level like mentally where this season he's firing on all like cylinders like that. Brady's been doing this for a long time now. He's still catching up to him in that regard. Like Rodgers, yeah, he's got like great stuff there, but is he gonna be the one just consistently like making every single third down you need, fourth down, backs against the wall type plays? We just haven't seen that as much. We've seen Brady come through on that. And he's had good teammates along the way to put him in these positions, but at the same time, he's taking advantage of it every single time as well.
And like you done ran up for about 5-10 minutes now. Right.
That was not fun. I was letting my case speak for itself.
I get you. Right. Do you know, here's a fun little stat right here. Do you know that out of the 20 seasons Tom Brady has started being a star quarterback in the NFL, he's had 17 top 10 defenses on his team? And you know how many Rodgers has had top 10 defenses in his career? One, the only time they went to the Super Bowl. So imagine if Aaron Rodgers may have had 5 of those. He would have just as much success. Brady relies heavily on defenses, bro. And you know that's true.
He doesn't rely on defense. The defense rely on him as well to keep them off the field and keep them fresh because he's staying in drives on offense. He's doing his part on that as well. He's not putting his defenses in compromising positions. Belichick did well in New England, but that was with Tom Brady. In Cleveland, he failed. He didn't do anything. Like as far as he got the right quarterback, and then they had a good thing that kept it going. But at the same time, he's not looking at any of that success without Brady because we've seen numerous number one defenses fall short in the playoffs because of lack of quarterback play and things of that nature and being held down. But with Brady, you're making the playoffs. You know you're gonna have whatever receivers you bring up there. You know he's gonna patch up 10, 11 wins just on pure just talent and just consistency and just as far as winning the game and playing the game, winning the right downs and being on time with everything. Like, thing is, man, like he might not wow you with every single play he's doing. Like the check down on 3rd and 7 might not be the exciting play, or James White little wheel route for 10, 15 yards might not be the exciting thing to do. But at the same time, it's the most effective play and it's breaking the backs of defenses year in and year out. And so I think Brady just in that regard, man, like he might, like at this age and this stage of his career, like we're not going to see him do what Rodgers does, fading away in the pocket, throwing like 60 yards. At the same time, he's making the right plays, man. And he might need a little more time to Rodgers get the ball out a little quicker because he's older and he can't extend the plays like Rodgers can. But at the same time, what he's doing, what he's working with, and just his talents, and like I think the number one thing if we're gonna really like kind of disparage at this level is you gotta look at durability, man. Looking at Rodgers with the amount of games he's missed, Brady missed one season where he had a cheap shot where they created a new rule because of that, as far as on the knee. But we're looking at durability as a skill. Like availability is the best ability, as some coaches will tell you, and just put it out there. Like he's gonna be out there every single Sunday, whether he's not practicing during the week or whatever it is. Like he's gonna be there. You can count on him, and just in the playoffs, he's the last person you want to face.
Let's talk about the scandals and the 3 things that I hold against Brady. And he's literally changed the freaking game about the Tom Brady tuck rule. Everybody, any football fan knows about this game. This was the 2002.
It was divisional round
against Oakland, and Charles Woodson, he was coming and he sacked Brady, and Brady was
flat blitz.
Yeah, he blitzed him. Brady was going for a pass, and then it was a fumble, but they called his arm motion going forward. And that game right there changed the game of football. It's called the Tom Brady Tucker rule, and that actually started the Patriots dynasty because they went on to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl that year, which they used Spygate.
So you're saying that when Tom Brady got hit as he was throwing the football and the refs they went into rule, when he was being hit throwing the ball and the refs convened, they discussed a rule that was already in there. It's not like they made it up. It was in the rule book, and they called it and executed.
Yeah, they never. It was never discussed before that.
Did that play happen? You can say they could have called it early, but did that exact situation happen early? The situation happened, and it happened to match a rule that was in the rule book.
How you gonna
I'll say it was. I'm not defending any of that. You're talking about him looking at the Jets. What if the Jets won since 1970? I don't think that was a little consequence right there. And that was more of a sticking it to them because they passed up Belichick on the head coaching job. And I'm gonna say, was it mischievous, dubious thing? Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, people are always looking for advantages, and I mean, other teams have done similar things. Not simple, the teams are gonna be pushed to the edge. They're gonna be looking for everything to do, but at the same time, I didn't fuck with the hit against the Rams.
When they were looking at the Rams, what plays they were running based off not formation, just based off the audible calls that they were doing. They know, we're doing this. That's a competitive advantage. The Rams were the greatest show on turf, #1 offense that year. No way in hell New England could have stopped them without playing fair. So that's why
at the same time, you're talking about a Super Bowl in which teams have 2 weeks to prepare for. Defensive performances are always usually better in those games when they have that much time to prepare.
My last points here, I'm going to talk about there's a few things. I'm going to talk about Brady is always praised for all these stats that he does or whatever. You're talking about he has high yard games before Aaron Rodgers. I'm talking about before I call it the pre-Randy Moss era. The pre-Randy Moss era, Brady was a game manager, and everybody knows that. Before Randy Moss got
was he a game manager?
Yes, he was.
Was the league more run central?
Oh, Rod, he was a game manager.
By trends, the NFL was not throwing the ball as much.
Oh, Rod, 4,000 yard passing season. That was 2005. Highest completion percentage was only 63.9. His first year starting, dinking and dunking. His highest touchdown total before Moss got there was only 28. He did that twice, 02 and 04. And his highest passer rating before Moss was 92.6. That's not good, right?
For the time being, it was
4,028 and 13 picks.
You're talking about two very different NFLs because 2008, Aaron Rodgers' first year starting, that was the year after Tom Brady and the Patriots were 16-0 and the offense is throwing the ball. I'm telling you the history of the game and what the game was.
I know the history of the game. You can't
I'm not teaching you anything. I'm just explaining the situation. The trend. I'm talking about the trends in the NFL at the time.
Okay.
Because the
teams you're saying that they weren't doing this, but how come Manning was doing all them passing numbers? How come Marino 60,000 yards and
you're talking about 2 seasons in the span of about 40 years, though, because only those were outlier situations. It wasn't the main thing to do. Like those guys were doing amazing things, but they were the only teams doing it like that. Because even back then, it was all about having those.
How come back in the 60s, United had 9,000 yards, right? They were always throwing the ball. It was just Frank Tarkenton played in the early game. He had 342 touchdown passes, and he played.
You're talking about a different decade, though.
But you said back then they didn't throw, so you just not
because you're talking about when you're talking about 1, 2, or 3 QBs at a time
in the league of 32 teams.
That's out of 32 teams. Those are exceptions to the rules of the times and the trends. Is all I'm saying. And I'm saying pre Randy Moss years of Brady.
Last point I'm gonna talk about is MVPs, and they both are tied at 3. I'm just gonna put
you giving them one that he hasn't won.
No.
We'll go
he won, Rod.
Yeah. You're talking about.
Well, just talking about. They both tied at 3. Rodgers won his first MVP in 4 seasons. It took Brady 7, and that was the year he had Moss. So pre-Moss game manager. Debate over you.
Man. And I'm just gonna say this. Whatever decade whatever year we're talking, it could be 10 years from now. I would not be surprised if talking about Tom Brady's leading the Oakland Raiders to their first Super Bowl in decades. Because we're talking about just the best quarterback ever. He's gonna wake up out of his bed. He's gonna scrap together. He's gonna scrap together whatever pieces you bring up to him. He's got like a 5-12 Raiders team. He'll turn them into 11 wins just like that. And that's been his talent this whole time. And whatever teammates he needs and all that, like doesn't matter.
Antonio too.
What'd you say?
He might call Moss back.
He might call Moss back in that year. But we know Tom Brady the best QB. Man, come on.
It's big A12.